Plants vs. Zombies 2 is a game. Bet you didn't know that. It's a game where you must strategize and choose your plants. However, we're not doing that. The rules of the challenge are simple. We can only use plants that are given to us in the world. So for example, in ancient Egypt, we get boomerang, bok choy, repeater, iceberg lettuce, gravebuster, and twin sunflower. We're only allowed to use these plants in ancient Egypt. All pre-planted plants must be dug. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. Just dig up all pre-planted plants until they do any damage. No using power-ups or leveling up plants. If I did that, I could just cheese everything, and that's not really fun. Most conveyor levels and the given plant things, they're counted. We have to do those too, because they usually give plants in the world. And finally, if a level requires you to produce X amount of sun, we are allowed to bring sun producers. With the rules intact, we can now finally begin the challenge. We're skipping the tutorial because obviously it's the tutorial and it's piss easy. By the way, I could have sworn you could skip this, but you can't. Ancient Egypt Day 1 is where things start to get a little interesting. You see, all the tutorial plants are banned since they're technically not from Egypt. So what are we gonna do? Well, luckily for us, the game really holds your hand in these first couple of levels, so the lawnmowers just infinitely respawn. It's impossible to lose, so we can literally just sit there and do nothing, and we win. Day 2 greets us with a bajillion pre-planted plants, which is pretty simple for us professional diggers. That was close. I did end up using power-ups here, but I mean, come on, do you really want to wait like 5 minutes for all the zombies to walk into the infinitely respawning lawnmowers? Didn't think so. Now on day 3 it was more the same. This time I tried getting as much sun as possible for literally no reason, but I mean like, come on, this doesn't affect anything. They're still getting instant kill by the lawnmowers. Alright, we can actually play the game now. Day 4 was a conveyor belt level, which is pretty simple. You only get like 2 plants, which is the bloomerang and the walnut, so yeah, easy. The game then puts us at gunpoint to upgrade the pea shooter, which really doesn't matter. We're not using this guy ever again. Day 5 is where we actually start having to think. You see, we don't really get any sun besides sun from the sky, so we have to do as much as possible to get sun. While not very necessary today, we're gonna have to start abusing the damage threshold in this game. And if you don't know what that is, basically in this game, there's a wave of zombies that appear, and if you deal half the health of all of the combined zombies or enough time passes, it will send another wave. So really what we're trying to do is stall as much as possible to get as much sun early on. With all that being said, I beat this level first try only using one set of mowers. We also got a new plant, which is iceberg lettuce, which absolutely carries this world. On an unrelated note, when I was trying to look up the image of Atlas holding Earth, I looked up Atlas Earth and I got fucking crypto shit. Day 6 may look a little scary, but it's actually pretty easy. It introduces the Gargantua of all things, but it goes down without much of a fight. Yeah. For some reason, day 7 starts you off with 500 extra sun, which is just a level full of brown coats and camel zombies. Bloomerang hard counters camel zombies anyway, so it's an instantaneous win. Then the game fucking bombards me with 1,000,000 rewards for some reason. It's like, stop, I don't need any of this crap. Anyways, I was super confused on why I got 500 sun, and I think it might have been because I didn't bring a sunflower, but I replayed the level and no, it just gives you 500 sun for no goddamn reason. Day 8 introduces these little bitches, and they're actually not that bad because I have iceberg lettuce. However, in later levels, they're gonna start spamming these guys, which is gonna become a problem. They also introduce these freaky dog guys, which throw graves around, but honestly, it's just a minor annoyance. The bloomerang does target it, which makes it take longer to attack, but it's really not that big of a deal. Another simple level down. I was starting to worry that this challenge was getting a little bit too easy, but then I realized that there's bucket heads in this level, and bloomerang fucking sucks at everything. The most interesting thing that happened on day 9 is that I made this absolute dog shit play. Fucking hell. Playing with the mouse is way harder than it seems. The bucketheads are a bit of a threat because Bloomerang's plant food power is so ass it needs 2 to kill 1 buckethead. However, we beat the level and unlock Gravebuster. Gravebusters are actually kind of a help here because Bloomerangs target graves behind zombies which make them take longer to attack, which means they struggle against Coneheads. Day 10 was super easy, and it was honestly easier than level 9, so I'm just gonna skim over it. Level 11 is a given plants level, which doesn't give us iceberg lettuce, so that kinda sucks. I actually did lose once on this level. On the final wave, there are 2 bucket heads on 2 different lanes, and I only had 1 plant food, so I literally just can't do anything about that. I tried to use Bloomerang's plus-shaped plant food power effect to kill the bucket head on the other lane, but I didn't do enough damage. So I tried conserving my plant food better, and I also did, this. As you see, more boomerangs hit the bucket head, which actually did a crap load of damage. However, this tech is completely useless as it's pretty much a waste of 175 sun. Day 12 introduces sarcophagus zombies, which are significantly more threatening than bucket heads, because not only do they have more health, but also they drop a fast zombie. However, 2 bloomerangs and an iceberg lettuce is enough to take them out. So the level is pretty straightforward. Day 13, we can't plant on columns 1 and 2 because of these stupid mold colonies, which is pretty bad because on its own, Bloomerang's barely able to solo a conehead. However, that's really not much of an issue because like 5 coneheads appear in this entire level. I don't know what happened. We also unlocked Bonk Choy, which is the absolute goat. It's one of my favorite plants in the entire game. Day 14 was a snooze fest because I have literally one of the best plants in the entire game. Day 15 is a Protect the Endangered Plants level, which you might think is pretty easy because I got sunflowers, but I actually didn't beat this level first try. It wasn't because the level was difficult or anything, it's because my emulator kept crashing. I also have keybinds now because I figured out how that works, so there's no more excuses for sucking at the game. Anyways, yeah, having 3 more sunflowers than usual makes this level a walk in the park. Day 16 and 17 have absolutely nothing of note. I really don't have any snarky comments or anything. Day 18 is a last stand level, which I fucking hate because they're so boring. You just like place a bunch of plants and then you wait for like 2 minutes. That's the level. Day 19 was another mold level, but no amount of Mr. Beast Lunch League products will stop me. We also got Repeater, but geez, he is not worth it. Day 20 is another endangered plant level, but it's all sunflowers, so we could just get 1,000,000 plants on board. I also realized I could have probably just ignored the sunflowers and actually still had the challenge apply, but Day 21 gives us Twin Sunflower, which is allowed in this world, so we win the level really easily. We also got 25 extra starting sun. Let's go! Day 22 wants us to not plant on the mold colonies and have less than 18 plants on the board at once.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
I'm genuinely curious who's actually like struggling against this level. Like, how do you even get more than 18 plants? Day 23 is a little scary because it puts you up a gargantuar. There's no conveyor belts or anything, you have to do it raw. Still pretty easy. Day 24 is a last stand level, and you know what? Just to prove how boring these levels are, I'm going to completely play out the entire level unedited. Yeah, never mind, that's way too boring. And finally, on day 25, we fight Dr. Zomboss. Surprisingly, this fight was actually pretty difficult. I really don't know how. I don't know what cabbage pole and walnut brings to the value, but apparently it brings something because I really struggled. Like, look at this, I barely have any plants down at all times. Seriously, the only reason I first tried this is because Zomboss tromped on all his people like a girlfriend stomps all over her boyfriend. And with that, we move on to Pirate Seas. Well, I would've, but CapCut decided to be a funny prank to make this video like 20 gigabytes for some reason, so yeah, I'm not editing more.